Mr. Rao, Mr. Chilpati Rao.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can start the program.
yeah. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, and CMAs. At the outset, let me introduce myself as CMA NBB Chalapati Rao. I'm currently working as an honorary senior vice president for Indian Society of Management Accountants, having 25 years of experience in the Asia Pacific region. Currently, I'm working as CFO for one of the diversified groups in Republic of Ghana. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of this event. Before we start this event, I need to brief all of you about today's topic. Today's topic is basically Power BI for finance professionals, BI tool by Microsoft. The main objective of this event is to illustrate the importance of Power BI to the finance professionals. Every finance professional should know how to perform sophisticated business analysis, create unique dashboards using Power BI, and develop data models. Our speaker is Power BI expert going to illustrate importance of Power BI tools for data analytics to finance professionals, and some other key insights would also be highlighted during the webinar. I would like to inform all of you that I am the moderator of the event. The event will be completed within 2 hours.
Mr. Rao,
After
Mr.
a
Rao,
brief, yeah.
now may I request just improve your audio. I think there is some problem. If you can improve your audio little bit.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it is better.
Yeah. I am the moderator of today's event. The event will be completed approximately in 2 hours. After my brief, the president of ISMA, Dr. Amrenderji, and the eminent speaker, he will introduce them. Then once this is done, there will be a question and answer session which will be moderated by us, members and other CMS who have joined us. They can message us in the inbox, and then the eminent speaker will answer their questions. So then after that, there will be concluding remarks from our founder president, Mr. Pankajji, followed by a vote of thanks from Mr. Deepak Singh. So I will not take much of your time. I will hand over it to Dr. Amrenderji, who is the president of ISMA. But before I hand over it to Amrenderji, let me give a brief about Amrenderji. Dr. Amrender is the president of ISMA. He is a fellow CMA, doctorate in project finance and appraisal. He holds an executive program degree from management from Indian Institute of Science. He have a FDP from IIM Bangalore. Also, he graduated and postgraduated in commerce. He has over 22 years of postdoctorate and professional experience to his credit in academic with corporates. He is currently working as a finance advisor in an IT MNC based in Bangalore. He has written several articles and research papers and has delivered guest talks, invited for presentation for several leading business schools. His interview was published in news and magazines. He has conducted various MDP in workshops for corporate professionals. He is a recipient of 2014 CMA Young Achievers Award from Institute of Management Accountants, honored by Dr. Jitendra Singh, who was the Union Minister of State from Prime Minister Office. This is the brief profile of our President of ISMA. Now I will hand over it to Dr. Amrenderji.
Thanks, Mr. Rao. And good morning, all of you. I can see the august presence of our senior members and young CMA professionals. welcome all of you, and thanks to each one of you joining this webinar. So thank Mr. Rao, and thanks for introducing me. So friends, before I take pleasure to welcoming and introducing Honorable Chief Guest and our eminent speaker of this event, as I have my introduction from Mr. Rao. So this is also my duty to introduce to the moderator of today's program, Mr. Rao, Mr. Chalpati Rao, Mr. Senior Vice President of ISMA, a seasoned finance professional, holds degree and membership of CMA Institute of India as well as USA. Also having membership and certification from UK and Australia, and he is also a certified fraud examiner, CRMA, MIPA from Australia, CFIP, AFA, CIPFA from UK, multiple degrees. So he has 25 years of working experience in corporate, based in multiple countries like in India, Oman, UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Ghana. To name few of those companies are Vedanta Group, Alstom, Wilmot International. So currently he's working as a CFO for one of the diversified groups based in Ghana, Ghana. He declared as a CFO of the year in retail sector at Ghana CFO Award in year 2016. Received this award from Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Planning of Ghana. He is involved in various activities for development of CMA profession. In past, he was holding Secretary of Dubai Overseas Center, also Noida chapter of CMA Institute. He is also one of the founding member of London Overseas Center of CMA. Let me also brief you about ISMA. So ISMA, the Indian Society of Management Accountants, represents open forum of professionals working in area of cost and management accounting, who integrates accounting expertise with advanced management skills to achieve business success. ISMA has been organizing workshops, seminars, and webinars in regular intervals. In line of same continuation, we have assembled today here to listen the speaker and chief guest on importance of BI tools for data analytics. We know there is hidden value within data, and the increased emphasis on data provides an opportunity for finance and accounting professionals to build on skills on BI tools that facilitates to do data analytics. So in order to stay relevant, every finance professional should know how to perform sophisticated business analysis. This is the need of the today's and that can create unique dashboard using Power BI and develop powerful data models. Power BI, Microsoft Power BI is a business analytics solution that connects big volume of data and provides interactive insights to business. So our speaker today is Power BI expert. He's going to illustrate the importance of the Power BI tools for data analytics to our finance professional. And some other key insight would be going to be highlight of this webinar. So friends, this is all about today's program. Our eminent speaker, CA Arno Wakfer. He from Australia. He's general manager of company named Educatio and an Australian-based training company is agreed on our request to deliver a session for us on the topic of Power BI that is getting more attention today among finance professionals. So as per Arno, he defines Power BI this way. That's what I learned going through the profile on the website, and that way he defined a Power BI. P basically it's called present stories, not numbers. O basically offer more value. W world-class VI platform. E is basically engaged decision makers. R is the real-time management information. B is better business decisions. I is intelligence driving strategy. So that way Arno defines Power VI. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome Arno Wakfer. Mr. Arno, I welcome you, sir. Let me introduce.
Dr. Menon, sorry, I'm interrupting you. I think
Thank
your
you.
slides are not moving.
Yeah. So it is a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome Mr. Arno, and let me introduce a brief profile of today's speaker. Mr. Arno Wakfer, he's a general manager. Uh, uh, sorry, is yeah, is a educatio. He's a chartered accountant, certified financial modeler, and certified commercial banking and credit analyst. Arno himself, a former CFO with 15 years, more than 15 years, commercial finance and general management experience, realized his passion was in education. Today, more than ever, it is vital for managers to have digital and financial literacy skills. It is this need that Shah Arno becomes general manager of Educatio, an Australian-based training company specializing in upskilling manager and professionals through disruptive learning programs in Power BI and finance business literacy. Arno is a keen networker by nature. He enjoys meeting new people, building relationships, and knowledge sharing. Be sure to connect with him on LinkedIn. So, Arno, again, I welcome you.
Thank you.
So,
Good.
So in this webinar, today Arno will run through the benefit of using Power BI and talking us through a live demonstration of Power BI reports. Concluding the demo will be somewhere 15-20 minutes, following with the question answer session. Throughout the presentation, please pop up your questions into the chat box. We will aim to get through as many as to answer these questions at whatever the time available. Now, our chief guest. Our chief guest doesn't require introductions, as he's well recognized among our CMA community, and not CMA community, for entire finance fraternity of the India, especially for finance management and his 8I principles and motivational speech. We feel proud to say that this conference has been witnessed with CMA Srinivasan Venkita Padmanabhan, known as Venkat, President Finance of Olam International, the company having Singapore dollar of 32.9 billion company. So that was he is managing finance of this company. We are so honored to have him as the chief guest for this morning. On behalf of everyone present here, I welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Srinivasan. Welcome you, sir. I will not miss to quote Mr. Venkat, as he believes that CFO needs an ideology that requires them to look at their overall contribution to the company and the formulation and execution of the long-term vision. For him, this ideology comes in the form of what he calls his 8I principles, which outlines the steps proactive individuals can take to make a difference in their organization and personal life. So look forward more details from him. So now about Mr. Srinivasan, he is also known as Venkat, believes in the sharing and learning journey and strongly believes in 8I principles. What is 8I principles? Insight, influence, involve, impact, inspire, institutionalize, introspect, and inclusive. His why was meaningfully touch as many people's life as possible and leaves a positive legacy. He is currently working as President Finance of Olam International Ltd. He is a senior member of Finance Executive Committee, Finance Talent Management Committee, and member of Operational Committee of Olam Group, that is 32.9 Singapore dollar million company operating in over 60 countries and employing 87,000 employees, as well as sourcing network of an estimated 5 million farmers and listed in Singapore Stock Exchange. Mr. Venkat has more than 30 years of extensive experience in leadership areas, oversight on multiple regions and business verticals, leaderships and development of multicultural teams, a strategic business partnership, and so on and so forth. So LinkedIn, you can connect Mr. Venkat. This is the email ID. So Mr. Venkat is a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India associate member of the Institute of Cost Accounts of India. He's Master in Commerce from Kerala University, and he's competent Toastmaster and certified NLP coach. Currently, he is a board member of Management Development Institute of Singapore Governing Council, treasurer of Singapore Indian Fine Arts, and founder of Investment Club, and advisory board member of many companies. He is also a regular speaker and contributor in professional industry forums, both in Singapore and internationally. So there are many articles about him got published in local and international magazines and newspapers. So this is all about the profile of our chief guest. So we request now the honorable chief guest to address the gathering and cast the light to his knowledge upon before the speakers comes on the topic. So hand over you to sir. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahendra, for a very generous introduction. In a nutshell, or as you rightly said, it's a sharing and learning journey. We all are learning every day, and we learn from everybody. So I'm very happy and that I'm able to contribute to this discussion. Very good morning, friends. I hope all of you from India. So very, very happy to look at all of you. Very, very pleasant. 100 people are there. I could see a message that there are more people joining by Facebook Live. It's a very big honor and privilege for me because though I qualified CMA way back, some 30 years back or even more, but this is the first CMA forum I'm addressing. I've spoken in many, many international forums, conference forums, and various CFO forums and business forums, but not in CMA forum. In that sense, I'm happy that I'm meeting my colleagues, my people, from my own institute. It's a great honor. Thank you so much for inviting me. So today's topic, so I'm just going to coin my talk. It's no presentation. I'm just going to talk from my heart. I have about 20 minutes to share. You can stop me and ask questions anytime you want, or you can put in the chat. So what is the finance function and how the finance fraternity is changing in my own eyes over the 30 years and what I see as going forward. In 30 years back, I remember myself when I did my CA and everything else, I opened manual ledger books, those kind of things. Today, if you go back and ask some of the youngsters, they will say they laugh at us. We all learned about double entry principles and three principles, golden principles, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. We just rattle out. Today, I don't know whether youngsters need to know about it because ERP systems are giving double, if you enter one entry, the other entry system is one. You look at it the way in which the digitalization and artificial intelligence is transforming the whole world. And IBM Watson can replace 100 lawyers and 100 hours of work or 100 days of work in a day or two. It's happening today. You can read about 40 years case study and give you a gist in no time. If that's all true, and in Singapore, I'm privileged to be part of one of the studies done by Singapore Accounting Commission and by NTUC, National Trade Union Congress of Singapore. When we did the study, there is roughly about 100,000 accountants are there in Singapore in a period of 5 to 7 years. If it is really, if you want to be conservative, it can be 2 years, but at best 5 to 7 years. The current accounting profession people, the kind of job which you do will see switches. There's no role. And that's happening. Believe me. Right? So unless you transform yourself, don't get married to your degrees and whatever you've done, that's history. That has given you an entry into a corporate or a business. But unless you are a lifelong learner, every day you learn. I'm very happy that 100 people are taking time on Saturday. This is learning. Very, very important for you to keep yourself updated and abreast. The second important attribute, when you look at it, if you ask me, the most precious card in the world is not your platinum credit card or some privileged credit card which people are giving to you if you earn $1 million. No, not at all. What matters is, it's called network card. It is the people whom you know, and also that person knows you, and definitely that person is ready to help you at the time of need. The power of networking is very, very important in this current world because many things will happen because those are the days when we studied, it is a competition. Who wins? But this is the world which is collaboration. We coexist. If that has to happen, you have to be extremely collaborating in the formal manner. And for that to happen, you must have extensive networking. Networking is not by exchanging cards and hi, and how many LinkedIn friends you have. It is a deep connection which you are able to make. And you are able to, be in touch with them. In some formal manner, you are maintaining relation. Very important, friends, don't forget. We talked a lot about hard skills. We as an accountant, we are going through the toil of passing one of the toughest exams, be it CA, be it ISMA or CS, whatever it is. But what is important, or in other words, there is a old school thought will say that where are we missing? We miss in the art of communication. Because this is the world where nobody is got time. Be it your child, be it you, nobody's got attention span is 1 minute. It's psychologically proven. That means anything you give, bundles and bundles of books and books, nobody's got time to read. It has to be insightful for you to reach. So that's the topic we are going to talk about BI today. Hence, I thought my 8I principle, it's my own principle, which is my own life. Every year I've added one more I, that's how I become 8I today. Let me elaborate a little bit more on that, and that will be very relevant for as a life skill, and that touches everything. See, we are good as accountants to produce 50 Excel sheets, 100 pages of thesis, and put up for a capital expenditure proposal to approve. Very good. We can create big, both us. But this is the world. If this is the iPhone you're happy, looking at it, the subject should say, like a dating, please open my mail. Because people are getting 100 and 200 of mails. I'm talking about the senior people. And if you have to really influence, the subject should be catchy for them to open. So you have to be very insightful in your communication. If you're talking about a debtors report and there is an outstanding amount is available, the normal accountant's tendency is subject will say debtors report, and then one Excel file will be there, please and enclose. That's not going to make an action. So you have to be insightful, not only subject, and if you cannot read my message within this, that's what I tell my team, then your communication is not good. You have to be insightful. It's like a juice extract, and bring it, the real extract, give it to me. And try it out today, go back and do. We can easily produce 50 pages, but if you have to bring a $5 million or a $50 million capital expenditure, 1-page board note, by reading the board note, a board note is going to approve your capital expenditure. Very difficult exercise. So how do you create that insight? That's the first I am talking about, which is what even BI will touch about. We'll come and I'll link my 8I with BI as we speak along. That's insight. But that's not good enough. Because you're not a consultant, you're not a BCG or a Bain or a PwC guy standing on the side and give a report and go away. You have to involve, you have to move out of your ivory tower. When I talk about ivory tower, your cubicle or a cabin, whichever it is, day and night, you've been busy in computer, get out. 50% of the time, be on the street, be with the business people. So you understand what is the pains of, what are the value drivers, what are the business drivers, what the issues we face. And that insight is important. It can't be only books, basis numbers, you communicate and then forget about it. Because you cannot be proactive. Because books of accounts is reactive. It is past. If you have to be proactive, if you give some foresight, you have to be, be with them and understand the value driver. That is called the second I. How much you involve? You put your heart and soul and be present. The third I. That's not good enough. You could be a good insight provider. You could create, be with them, but you're not a good communicator. The influencer. The influencing is the art. Be it you tell your child to study well and then choose a course, or whatever common manner you want to influence, to get a job or get it married, your partner should say yes to you for marriage. It is all a question of influence, right? And for you to influence, that's an art of communication. That's why I just mentioned specifically in my profile, Toastmaster. Because you have to practice. In accounting profession, unlike an MBA profession, we don't have that much of practice. For you to practice, you have to take your time and effort in practicing. That's one forum. It's called Toastmasters worldwide. There are 5-10 million, clubs are available. Very reasonable amount. India itself, plenty in every place. Go and Google. So there they will say, elevator pitch. I'll just give a topic. You have 30 seconds to think and just say. In 2 minutes, you are conclude. You cannot exceed to more than 2 minutes. Then there are prepared speeches, eye-to-eye contact, body language, emotions, all that matters. Because the verbal tonality, what you say, that we believe that's how we communication know. That's only 20%. 80% is your body movement, your tonalities, your emotions, the energy, what you bring to the table. So hence, dear friends, if you've not done it, please go and practice. Because communication is going to be more and more important in the digitalized world, how effective you are a communicator. That is what I call it as influence, the fourth I talk about. Right? I did a beautiful insight that I have involved. I am able to create influence on people, but this world is very, very, in that sense, ruthless. You have to earn your right. And especially in a content service function, you're not earning revenue. You have to prove your value. And what is the prove value? That is called impact. What impact you created on the ground? What needle you moved? You are all your 3 eyes so far, the insight, involvement, and influence, creating an impact, which is what will make you as a star or an exceptional business partner, and that's what will make a needle move. If you do that, fantastic, you become a star. But if you're, that is an individual. But if you become a leader, that's not good enough. That story has to be communicated, that has to be shared with many people, so inspire. Your subordinates, your peers will get inspired that this is what I want to do. And if you do that, you're no more in the picture, you institutionalize. That is very important. Institution, good to great and all the books that they read. The companies which exist for 100 and 150 years, like Tata Group, because they were able to institutionalize the values in the company. And that's important for you as a leader. And if you do that, then what happens? You're covered 6 eyes. The last two are my favorite, because you cannot say that I am a star performer, I am a star communicator, hence I will take it, unless you are inclusive. Here, inclusive includes whether it is physically disabled people or a gender diversity, or people who are not come from a well-to-do family, whatever it is. You truly believe everybody can bring some value to the table. How do you bring them along? And each one of them are competing on their own. They are better than yesterday, and how to bring them. That's inclusive. And if you do all that, morning to evening, dear friends, we are like a plastic bottle in the sea, empty plastic bottle. The waves will take you to the deep water and then come back. We think we are working 24/7, very busy. Oh, you see, I'm working very hard. Whom we are fooling? Are we reaching any of the visions and goals we set up? It's an introspection for you to do that. I have done it. 15 years back, I put my photo inside a plastic bottle and keep it in my table. Just to remind me that I'm just get oscillated basis. Today somebody calling, I'm running. That was the work. I'm able to prioritize. I'm able to see what is important. Not only solving an urgent problem, but what is important. I'm able to prioritize and able to focus. If you do that, for that doing it is the last eye, the 8th eye which I talk about, which is called introspection. You have to take some time for yourself, not surrounded by TV, not surrounded by smartphone, but just a quiet place where to see where am I. A simple car driving from Mumbai to Pune, when you go, you stop and find that whether I'm in the right direction. What about your life? The most precious asset in the world is not the bungalow, the car you drive. It is you. I started my career with a 2,000 rupees salary, 31 years back per month. That's history. If you're able to learn and grow every day, and all of us, like we have Vijay and CJ people are here, we all up to 80 mentally very active. And hence we will be contributing. For that to happen, it is very, very important that you should imbibe the value of culture, of, getting this 8A principle. That's my way of putting it, whichever way you want to pick it up. But lifelong learning and ensuring that, you pick up every day from everybody you are able to learn. The precious asset which I talked about you means how you are going to improve yourself. One is your knowledge, because standards are changing. Accounting, what we studied is not the current accounting, right? Fair value and IFRS are dramatically changing. Many of the issues you need to relearn. Second, it is very important your soft skill. How you are going to be equipping yourself. Like I said, good communicator, good influencer, empathy, emotional intelligence, EQ, vitality quotient. I mean, I can get into that long discussion. Very important. So you yourself equip yourself on that part of it. If you do that, you are the most precious asset, because till 80 you will be contributing in the life. There are 3 freedoms are very important. First one is called physical, financial freedom. So that when you retire or whatever happens, you can eat your curd rice or whatever food you eat, simple food. There is a roof over your head. The second one is called physical freedom. At the age of 80, you can go to the toilet alone without anybody helping. The COVID has taught us how life is. So you have to be, physically fit. And the third, very, very important, is called emotional freedom, which is where the network and how you are contributing and how you are creating people's impact. Lastly, just to conclude, I just want to say that don't ever talk about what you are. So that's why if you look at my profile, when you read it, the first profile is nothing to do with my designation. Since it is need to be told where I'm working instead. It's a no value. That's not my identity. Today I may be president, tomorrow may not be there. So the card or I will retire, it's no more valid. You have to create your own identity. There should be a personal identity for you. You have to stand. And that's why the what is not important. I'm sure you all of you to listen to the TED Talk by Simon Sinek. There are more than 20-30 billion people have seen it. Just be clear that the why matters. Why you stand, the purpose for which the company stands, purpose for which you stand. And if you're very clear on my why is as many people's life as possible meaningfully, that you will see in all my aspects. I'm busy in office. I'm in many social forums. I was the past chairman of the Singapore Indian Charter Fund Association, various places, or grassroots community center. You have to give in you fully, because that is what will make a difference for you to see that how you're moving day by day in your life. With that, the BA is one aspect of the insight which I talk about, for you to give the master data, a pictorial way of presenting data. If the garbage in, garbage out. If you have a master data governance and the data is correctly captured, and go clear in your mind what should be centrally captured and what should be decentralized, what I need to control and what I can delegate, I don't need to control, and how do I get that presented in a form and manner, which includes past trend analysis, and if you have all the regression analysis, you can also forecast easily. Anything on pictorial, that's why we all are sitting before TV, is very beautiful. That's why the BA can give you the juice, the extract, which if you have to do it in Excel, etc., it's going to take so much of time so that you get. And the world is today is asking that you need to have information on a yesterday's basis. You don't have 40 days to close the books and give information. BA will help you that tangible, daily, proactive information comes to your shoulder so that you can take meaningful decisions. Wish you all the very best for this conference. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a fantastic forum, and glad to meet all my CMA colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Venkat sir. Thank you so much. Great insights. The information that you have shared in a short period, really, if we follow, definitely it will make a difference in life. Sir, you have said one thing. Personal identity is important. Somebody has once said, position and possession are lifeless. Never ever put life into that. You will end up in suffering. Today I may be a chairman, I may be a director, I may be a president, but tomorrow I may not be there. When I say possession, I may be holding this iPhone. It will fall, it will collapse. So personal identity is very important, sir. Thank you so much. You have covered very well, actually. I'm telling you, you are one of the best speakers I have ever seen. I have met so many people saying the same. So thank you so much, and really God bless you. And sir, you have see your 8 principles. You have discussed about the insight, influence, involve, impact, inspire, institutionalize, introspect, and inclusive. If anyone wants to follow these principles, definitely it will make a very big difference. Sir, you have also mentioned about Toastmaster. I was the ex-secretary for Dubai chapter of CMS, and Dubai chapter, they are actively have a Toastmaster club actually. And you have also touched upon networking, which is very, very important in this digital world. You also touched upon the art of communication. Yes, that is very much important. And as you said rightly, that we should be a lifelong learner. Lifelong learner, we should learn and we should share the knowledge with the people. In our Shastras also it is mentioned that if you give knowledge, that is also a type of a charity. So you're doing a great job, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would request our president of ISMA to present a special token of appreciation to our chief guest.
Sure. Yeah. So thank you so much, sir. Really wonderful. I deeply appreciate this wonderful motivational speech you made at this webinar. So this is a small, the certificate of recognition. So what from our CMA members from ISMA to you, sir. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wish you all the very best. Great time. The last part is Chalabari was saying there's something called sharing and learning. By sharing and learning, it is not that, whatever you have, you grow. The more you teach, you get better. The more you commit, you get better. So all of you start the journey of sharing. Don't hesitate. How good your speaker will happen later. Just start saying. Just so to inspire, I'm telling everybody, you may be thinking that I'm good in English, right? I studied in Tamil medium. Yeah, till 12th I studied Tamil. I learned English when I was doing BCom. When I was an LIC agent and along with that I studied. So for you to pick up any skill, it is not, you don't need to worry about anything. The past is not going to dictate who you are. The future is there with you, so long as you can work on the present. With that, I will leave all of you all the very best. Thank you so much. I just switch off my video and I'll keep listening. Thank you.
Mr. Rao?
Yeah.
I will just take a minute. I want to have quick, poll from the audience. So the question is that, do you support use of data tools in finance? Yes, no, just quick. Just, I request the audience. I think you are seeing the question on your screen. Just fill the option. Are you seeing, Mr. Rao?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, just please quick. So we want to understand that how much you wait for the use of data in finance. Data tools. Now we are more specifically looking for data tools. Finance is precisely driven by data, no doubt about that. But here we are discussing that how you support data tools in finance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very happy to share the result. So 99 point, our audience, they are saying that almost the use of data is very, very important in finance. So I think that have perfectly set the context of this program. So now, Mr. Rao, you can go ahead with the program. Thank you so much, audience.
Thank you, Pankaj. Now I would request our eminent speaker, CA FMVA Arno Wakfer, General Manager of Education Australia, to deliver his address. Mr. Wakfer.
Great, thanks, guys. I just want to check: is the sound good?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, good. I just want to check. I don't want to be talking to myself, so just make sure everyone hears me. Great. Thanks for the warm welcome, and I'm excited to show you what Power BI can do. I'm sure everyone may have heard of Power BI. May not sure what it is. So my role today is just to show what it is and what it can do and how it can benefit your career as a finance and accounting professional. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay, so can you see my presentation? Just make sure it's on the screen here. Can you see a presentation that says Power BI for finance and accounting professionals? So make sure. Okay. All right, so the purpose of today is just to give you a brief, what I call a gentle introduction into Power BI, especially for finance and accounting professionals. And why finance and accounting professionals? Because it's all about future finance. The way we did finance 10, 15 years ago is very different these days. We need to keep up with the times. We need to deliver more value and more insights to business so they can make better decisions faster. And that's basically what Power BI can do. It's a business intelligence tool. All right, so what is Power BI? Power BI is a business analytics service by Microsoft. It aims to provide interactive visualizations and business intelligence capabilities with an interface simple enough for end users to create their own reports and dashboards. So currently we report via Excel or we PDF our reports and we send that to management, decision makers. And Power BI is very different. It's an interactive way of sharing dashboards with anyone, anywhere in the world, all interactive. Power BI includes, but they've got a desktop app. So you develop the reports on your desktop, and then they've got a web application. It's actually when you push it to the cloud, and that's where you share your reports. The great thing, the Power BI desktop is free. Most people don't know that. So you can actually develop your own reports for free. You only pay once you publish it to the cloud. All right, Power BI in terms of, it's basically, it's a BI tool that enables a person to clean and transform raw data. You can then model and visualize it, and then share it with decision makers, which are called the end users. BI connects the facts about the business to decision making. We get to understand the underlying data of a business to make better business decisions faster. So instead of just looking at a revenue number, less cost of sales, gross profit, we can actually start analyzing revenue, and we can spot opportunity and trends, and that helps with decision making and forecasting and planning. So we can actually go and spot where are we bleeding margins and where are we overperforming. It also helps to have a positive impact on you as an individual and your team and your organization, as you are able to analyze data and create dynamic visuals that tell the story of a business performance. So Power BI is about stories. It's not just about numbers. It's telling a story, because most people can read the story a lot faster than they can understand numbers. So why Power BI? Well, it's the best Power BI platform out there. The closest to that's Tableau, and Power BI has been leading since the last couple of years, and it's the top one rated by Gartner. They do an annual quarterly survey or annual survey on business intelligence, and Microsoft just stands out. Okay, so someone had to ask you, how does Power BI work? And for a non-Power BI user, the simplest way I can explain it is, it all starts with Power Query, which is the backend of Power BI. That's where you go and fetch your data. So you can connect to over 115 data sources. So Excel is the most common. You can do a web, you can do text, CSV, SQL databases, you name it. So you go and fetch the raw data, and then you do a bit of cleanup on it. Once you've done that, you push it to Power BI, to the actual desktop application, and that's where you build models and you connect all your different tables to each other. The big thing is Power BI. In Power BI is a thing called DAX. So it's called Data Analytic Expression. Now it's a programming language. So as finance people, the most intimidating part of learning Power BI is learning a new language. It's like learning a foreign language. It takes time and practice, but the language that you have to learn is DAX. So once you build DAX, DAX is like, think about like Excel calculations, where you build all these little calculations that you do. And once you've done that, you then go and design your dashboards, your reports within Power BI. That's all your charts and your visuals and all those things. And once you've done that, is what you then push it to the cloud. And when I say the cloud, it's basically it's a URL. It's HTTP. Everyone gets a unique URL, and you share that URL with decision makers. And once they've done that, is then you can collaborate on your information, so people can actually or Q&A your numbers in the cloud. So when someone queries your number, you'll get a response. The other great thing is with Power BI is you can schedule reports, and you can distribute it, and you can auto refresh your reports to update. So that's the high level workflow of Power BI. All right, so why should you adopt Power BI? Well, it's easy to use, but only once you know how to. It's like Excel. If you learn Excel and you don't practice, you're going to forget it. But once you know Excel, it's easy to use because you've practiced, you've used it. So the same thing applies to Power BI. It's a cost-effective platform to implement. You can visualize data through interactive reports and dashboards. I'll show you a bit later what I mean by dynamic interactive reports. Like I said, you can import data from just about any data source. There's currently 115 data sources listed on Microsoft's website. Obviously, the most common ones we would use is Excel. Everyone uses Excel. And then you can also do text and CSV. Great thing about Power BI is the backend Power Query. You can actually merge and append different data talking to each other. So you can pull an Excel file on HR, for example. Then you can put a CSV file from sales, and you can actually merge and append the data tables to each other. And that's all that runs on autopilot once you do that in Power Query Editor. I spoke about DAX. So DAX is the most challenging part, and it's such a powerful data analytics tool. So you need to think about Power BI. It's not just a visualization tool. It's also an analytical tool. And why I say that is that you basically perform analysis on raw data. If you look at a raw data sheet, it just looks like a whole bunch of numbers. But once there's different functions and that you can use in Power BI, and the more analytical functions you apply, you can actually slice and dice that data that you can actually, you'll be astounded at what you've actually analyzed. So it's a very powerful analytical tool, DAX. The other thing is you can connect and transform millions of rows of data. There's no limit on the number of rows in Power BI, not like Excel. So that's the great thing. And Power BI has also got a great processing speed. It's easy accessible from anywhere at any time on most devices. So, desktop, tablet, mobile, all those things. It's great for data sharing and collaboration. And the other great thing is Microsoft has introduced 50+ DAX functions. I think that was about a year ago. You can actually perform time value of money calculations within Power BI. And the big thing for me is part of the digitized transformation of finance is it helps the finance to upskill and digitize as part of their finance transformation journey. And then I also say finance for me is a business partner. And the way you become a business partner is through data, because data is people and data is important assets in the business. And if you've got data, you can start conversations, you've got influence, you become the resource of choice. And I think data just for me is a great conversation starter. And it's based on facts, and it helps conversations, and it helps you to get closer to business. So those are the reasons I would say. Okay, how to think about Power BI as a finance and accounting professional. I broke it down the acronyms. So if you think about Power BI like this, so we're presenting stories, not just numbers. We offer more value to business. We're using a world-class business intelligence tool. We engage decision makers. We provide real-time management information so they can make better business decisions faster. And then it's intelligence driving strategy. So if you ask me what's Power BI, if I had to ask, if anyone ask me what's Power BI, how that can help them, that's in my opinion, that's what Power BI can help you with. All right, so the benefits for the finance and accounting professional, because BI, business intelligence, a couple of years ago was something that was done by IT. It wasn't done by finance. So if you want a business intelligence report, you would go to the IT and ask them to scope and draft, and you would test it. But these days, the wheels have turned. If you got these kind of skills, you can take the data. Because if you think about the finance function, finance has got access to financial and non-financial data. So we've got access to that data, and if we can generate better insights, we can help business make better decisions faster. So we actually become a reliable source in business. So the benefits, we can analyze more data, like I said, unlimited rows. We learn a new programming language, powerful. You upskill yourself in BI, you're future-proofing your career. And about India, but in Australia, more and more finance jobs are having Power BI as a prerequisite in the jobs, in finance and accounting jobs. And it just goes to show me that business wants finance to be more involved in business through data analytics and visualization. So it's definitely a skill to upskill in and to future-proof your career. You can turn raw data into stories that quickly answers the right questions, and that's the art. It's not just about putting graph dashboards together and just sending it out. It's your dashboard should answer the questions that the guys, the board members or the management are asking around the table. So it's about answering the right questions. And if your dashboards are right, they can quickly see the answers. So it's a skill, it takes time. But I think the way I design dashboards is I don't think what business wants. I go and ask business what they want. And then I design dashboards that answers the questions. Because remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve problems. And we're trying to be proactive in the way we drive business performance. We can't, no longer can we wait for historical results. We want to try and measure business performance more often, and Power BI enables you to do real-time management information. You can share dashboards to the cloud with user access, accessible from different devices. So what I mean by that is in Power BI, you can set what they call it row-level security. And basically what that means is you can set up access who sees what. So if you want a certain department only to see certain sales data, you can assign rights to certain users. So only they get to see what they need to see. So you've got those functionalities to set up security controls. Spoke about you become the go-to resource for business insights to help monitor and drive business. And then, you can better serve your decision makers with real-time information and what I call self-service capabilities, because that's what Power BI is. Someone's not going to send you an email to say, please send me my Power BI report. It no longer works like that. They access a URL and they play around with what they want to see. Every user looks at different things, and that's the great thing about Power BI. It's a self-service tool that they can go and look at the numbers themselves. Okay, so what are the things that finance and accounting professionals can do with Power BI? Well, you can create dynamic financial statements with advanced ratio analysis. You can perform cash flow forecasting and analysis. This is great. You can do advanced sales data analytics for decision making. You can also analyze and visualize your AR, accounts payable, accounts receivable, and your inventory. Perform analytics on your GL, your general ledger, as well as advanced purchases data, so from your vendor and your supplier side. And this is great. The other great thing is, I don't think we do that enough. Is when we look at margin, gross profit margin, we need to analyze it at a product and a customer level, so we can see which customers are giving us more margins and which ones are giving us less margin, and what's the reason for that. So that's a great thing with Power BI. Once you've got that data, you can actually you can visualize that. The other thing is Power BI is also useful for creating what I call financial calculators. So what does that mean? So one of the other things I teach at education is business finance literacy. I'm very passionate about managers and decision makers being more financial literate. Not everyone likes the numbers. A lot of people, when they see the numbers, they shy away. They feel intimidated by the numbers, but yet they do budgets and forecasts. So I think Power BI is a great tool to, if you've got certain financial management tools in your business that use, like for example, I'll use a very simple example. So like a break-even analysis tool that the guys use to say, okay, how many units do I need to manufacture to break even, so where I make no profit? You can actually build a little tool, I'll show you a bit later, where you can actually give them variables. So if they drag certain assumptions, it will actually give them the answer. So I think it's a great tool for decision makers to make better financial decisions as well, like building these dynamic tools. All right, I spoke about time value of money calculations. If you want to do present value, future value, payment, annuity payments, all those things, you can do that within Power BI. Also, another great thing is you can perform depreciation. So you can actually have your fixed asset register within Power BI and set that up and manage it within that and share that fixed asset register with users. And the other great thing is forecasting what-if analysis. So there's a thing called in Power BI, there's a thing called parameters. So if you play around with the different parameters, you can see the outcomes of your decisions. So as you can see, it's not just a financial tool. You can do so much more with it's a financial and a non-financial data tool. But to have that skill and be able to deliver those insights is just it's mind-blowing. Because trust me, if you give someone a 70-page management account pack, and you give them 5 slides that shows them really what the business needs and where they need to focus on, they're going to look at the 5-page, and the 70-page most probably won't read that. And I think with today's times, we need to make better decisions faster. All right, so I'm just going to, next few slides, I thought I'd just showcase some of the things that we're going to look at. So financial reporting. So these are just kind of the dashboards that you built. So I've got income, P&L, profit and loss, income statement, cash flow, balance sheet, and everything is dynamic. So what that means is dynamic is that when a user gets their dashboards, their Power BI dashboards, they don't have to go to 110 different places to find the answers. They can just click on different menus. And when they click on a menu, you'll see like a menu that's got an actual. So if they click on actuals, they'll see actuals. If they click on vertical analysis, they'll see the vertical analysis split. Last year, they'll see last year's figures, year-on-year change, and then year-on-year change percentage. So everything within one dashboard, it's dynamic. So they click on any of the variables, all the numbers will change. It's also dynamic in terms of periods. So if you want to only see 2018, you click on 2018, 2019, and 2020. Okay, so So do financial ratios. You can build these nice dashboards, financial ratios. And how it works is as soon as you refresh your Power BI reports, everything gets updated. So it's real time. I spoke about gross profit, customer profitability analysis. You can start drilling down into locations, and it's so flexible. Just in this chart here, you can look at. This is just an example of a sales performance of an American company. Australian company. You can drill down by states, you can drill down by city, or you can just drill down by the customer. And whatever you select here, all this will change dynamically, all within one report. And the other great thing is if I only want to look at 2014, I click on 2014 and all this will just relate to 2014. So that's what I mean when I talk about dynamic reports. Okay, so deep dive into your customer transactions to spot areas for improvements and to assist with future planning. I spoke about financial calculator. So these are just some examples. So I'll show you this break-even analysis. So I've got some assumptions on the left that we're just going to play around, and then these numbers will give us the answers. Okay, I've got a cash flow forecasting as well. I'll show you. So everything is very interactive. As you'll see in this one, I've got a bit of numbers. I mix it up a bit. So I've got a typical cash flow forecast table, but then the rest of it is more visualization. So I think it's a change of mindset when you do Power BI. It's not just taking your management accounts and putting it into Power BI. You don't want to do that because what's the point? You want to take a bit, you want to blend it a bit, you want to blend it with numbers and visuals. And I say more visuals than numbers. And then this is an example. I think this was Amazon stock, Apple stock. Sorry, Apple stock. So you can do charts and stock as well. So just to give you that. All right. So that's the end of the presentation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go and do some Power BI reports. Are there any questions before I carry on? Should we do it at the end?
Sir, few questions I have received from a few members. Would like to ask you, what is a Power BI business user? What is the difference between Power BI business user?
That's the end user, in my opinion. That's the one that's using it at the end of the day. So that's the decision maker. You can have different users, different business units.
Is there any difference between Power BI? Yes, we have different business units.
Yeah, like you may do reports for the human resources. You may do reports for sales and marketing or for finance. So I think the business unit is probably the business user, I would say.
Okay. Okay, I have one more question. What is the difference between Power BI Pro and Power BI Premium?
Okay, so Power BI Pro is where you just push it to the cloud, you share it with users, but the Premium is the enterprise version. So I don't work in the enterprise. I think that's on large scale businesses. So most of you would probably use the Pro version. So Pro, I think, I'm not sure what the price is in your currency, but currently in Australian dollars, it's probably about I think it's about $12-14 Australian dollars per user. So if you're pushing, so the application is free, but say you've got 20 users that's going to use your Power BI reports in the cloud, and you have to take that fee times 20 to get your monthly cost. It's a monthly cost.
Okay, what to purchase and implement, Power BI?
So in India, it's $990. I see there's someone commented, yeah, $990. There we go.
Yeah, how to purchase this BI tool, Power BI, and how we can implement it?
So how to purchase it? You just purchase through Microsoft. You can't use a personal email address. You have to use a work email address. So don't even try your Gmail account because it won't work. You have to use a business account. And if you've got Microsoft Teams, the other great thing about Power BI is if you've got Microsoft Teams, you can actually embed You can embed the reports, the dashboards. You can embed it into a website if you want, because it's got an iframe code, it's got HTML. You can embed the code. You can embed it into Microsoft Teams, the dashboards. You can just send them a link. So they've got different ways that you can share the reports with them. So how to implement it? So you first need to design it in the desktop application. You need to design your reports, and once you've done with that, then you need to push it to Power BI Pro for other people to access it.
Okay, I have worked in many softwares like SAP and all. SAP has its own inbuilt BI tools, and long back, I'm talking about 15 years back, I had a discussion with the business objects, Cognizance. They are the world-renowned firms which are into BI tools. So how does a BI tool, whether we talk about Cognizance or business objects or the inbuilt tool in SAP, differ with the one what we have in Microsoft?
Well, I think the thing is with Microsoft's one is you can actually learn it and do it yourself and earn that skill. I think if you go and try that in SAP, you have to go and get a certification, a degree to go and do those kind of BI tools. So I think Power BI is just so much simpler. They make it so simple. Even the programming language stacks are looking at simplifying that. So at the end of the day, they're trying to get more and more people. They're trying to make business intelligence tools easier for people to learn. And it's such a powerful thing to learn, and so I just think it's a lot easier. And that's why we're having this webinar, is for the finance accounting professionals to actually embrace that tool, Power BI, and learn it, and just get to see what it can do. So I just think it's a lot easier to learn and implement than trying to do it through SAP, because you're not going to be able to do that yourself through SAP, because you have to get SAP consultants, and making a SAP change is going to be quite costly. With Power BI is a lot more economical and cost effective to develop and implement.
Okay, so now you can proceed.
Okay, great. Thanks for the questions. Okay, so what we're looking at here, the example here is a dashboard I've built. I've taken the financial results of Netflix on the US stock exchange for the last 4 years, from 2017 to 2020. It was on yahoo.com, and the point of view is just to illustrate to you what you can actually do with Power BI. So what we've got here is an index page. So if you think about it like an Excel report, if you do hyperlinks, so you put buttons and you click hyperlinks. If you click on a button, it takes you to another report. So that's what you can do exactly the same in Power BI. So if we go and say we want to go and look at our income statement, our P&L, so we'll click on that. And then what will happen is that it will bring up our abridged and our detailed income statement for each year. Let's say I want to go and look at 2019, for example. I click on 2019, and then what you'll see, all these numbers have changed dynamically. Let's say I want to go and look at the detail. You can go here into focus mode, and people can actually see the detail behind it. Now, look at it, when you're looking at this, look at it from the end user's perspective. Now imagine you're sending this out to the end user, right? So this is what they're seeing. So now they look at that, okay, that's great. We'll go back there. On the right-hand side, they say, okay, I want to go and look at the vertical analysis on the income statement, for example. So they click on vertical analysis, and you'll see it changed from dollars to percentages. And we can now quickly see, let me just go, sorry, where is it now? Focus mode. Press the wrong button. There we go. So now you can go and just expand, and you can actually go and do a vertical analysis. You can see where was the biggest movement year on year. All right. Now let's say I want to go back. Let's say maybe I want to go and look at another chart. So maybe I want to go and let's go and look at our vertical analysis. All right. So the point of the demo is just to show different ways that you can visualize the financials. So on the left-hand side is what we call this. So this is a period slicer. So we're giving the user the option to be able to select different periods. And when they select periods, you can see everything changes. So all these visuals are changing: gross profit, operating, net profit, even the year-on-year change. All these are up and down. And you can also see that for 2020, it's telling me these numbers aren't thousands. When you say 24,000 millions, it's actually 24 billion. So just this dashboard here shows me that Netflix's revenue went up. It's 25 billion for 2020, and it went up from 20.16 to 25 billion. So it went up 24%, and there's a 24% there. So you're giving the user a bit of a mix. They can either look at the numbers, or they can just look at the charts. And the charts tells them quickly what the numbers are. Let's look at another example. Let's say let's go and look at our balance sheet, for example. Let's say I want to go and look at the trend of my current assets. So you create a little menu here. You can put whatever items you want on the face of the balance sheet. And these different charts are just going to show you what the movements were year on year. If you hover over any of the charts, it will show exactly what the amount is. And the whole idea here is to visualize what happened with the financial results of Netflix. If I go to total non-current liabilities, you'll see everything will change. Okay, got a little button here back. So if a user wants to go back to the menu, let's look at our cash flow statement as an example. So again, maybe I'll take another one. Let's look at the year-on-year change. There. So now I want to look in this visual. I just want to look at numbers, the values. So here's the values. It shows me the movement of their cash position as an example, and the composition, the weighting of the different cash flow activities, operating, investing, and financing activities. Let's say I want to go and look at the year-on-year change. So that figure there is just the movement year-on-year. And let's say I want to go and look at the percentage change. There's the percentage. So I can exactly see where was the biggest changes if I scroll down. The other great thing is you can build in ratio analysis. I've just built a little profitability. So now you can see the one thing I've done here is that with Power BI you can be very smart by creating backgrounds unique to your company by branding it. You can see this report's branded. It's branded to Netflix. This is not standard. Typically the backgrounds are white in Power BI, but you got the option to create customized branded reports that blends in with your business. So what we've got here is a profitability analysis. If I'm going to go look at my gross profit, you can see there's my sales, my gross profit. Here's all my ratios, conditional formatting. Let's say I want to go look at 2019. You see all the changes there. Maybe I want to go look at my operating profit percentage. And the changes here. Okay. What I can do is I can go and do a little, maybe I want to do a financial ratio dashboard. So this has got all the ratios. Let's say I only want to look at 2020. It will only show me 2020. If I want to look at 2019, I hold in control and I select 2019, next 2019. So you see, it's very flexible in the way you can choose what you want to see. And then lastly on this one, you can also do executive summary where you can just combine everything and create a snapshot of. So in here we've got our revenue, we've got our balance sheet, and we've got our cash flow. So I can already see if I go to 2020, you'll see everything will change now. I mean, isn't this more useful than sending management accounts, to be honest? They can use the management account to look at the details. But if I will take a quick snapshot of a business, then this is powerful stuff. Okay, so that's the financial demo I wanted to do. I want to now just move on to, let's do the cash flow. So what I've done, I've just built a 12-week cash flow forecast. The whole point is just to show you how you can visualize it. So the forecast runs over 12 weeks. So let's say I only want to look at the movement for that period, 1st of May until the 2nd of November. You can see all these charts are changing. It will show me the cash inflows for the week, the outflows, the net cash movement, as well as the closing bank balances. So you can see changes. Okay. Let's say I just want to look at the cash flow forecast table. You can build it in there. That's how we typically report it. So you can build it in. So it's got that functionality as well. If you want to put your reports in as you currently do, you've got that option as well. So you can blend it. We can do cash outflows. Maybe we just want to look at cash outflows. So you can build, let's say I want to just look at my fixed overheads, and I want to look at for that period. So you see, it all changes. It tells me exactly what it is. Let's say I want to go and look at, maybe I'm going to go look at my expenses. Power BI has got currently, I think, over 30 ways, standard, or it's actually 40, I think 40 visualizations that you can choose from different charts. What you're seeing here is a tree map chart as an example. And what you can do is, I think if you go, I'll show you, let me just choose something. Maybe let's do rent. Choose all the weeks. Yeah, that one should show it. Go to this one, yeah. I think it's because of this one. What you can do here is you can also, what I spoke about the forecast, you can do what if analysis. So just in this example, what I've done is I've just built what we call a cash flow buffer. Say I want a 2-month cash flow buffer for my business, and it will show me which period I've got a cash deficit. So you can kind of build these what if analysis variables. And based on that, what you select, the things will change. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So I spoke about a financial calculator. So in this very simple example, let's say we look at a break-even analysis tool. So you can design this within Power BI. So say we our selling price per unit is $7, and let's say our variable cost is 4. So that gives us a gross profit, contribution margin of $3. And let's say we are expecting to manufacture or sell $20,000, and I want to, my fixed overheads is about, let's say 15,000. So you'll see every time I've changed these slices, all these numbers are changing. So based on this scenario, we need to achieve at least 5,000 units to break even. You can see all the variables here. So if I change any of these variables, let's say we change that to 3. You'll see all that change. Now we have to manufacture less, which makes sense because our variable cost has dropped. So that means our contribution margin's gone up. All right. Then I just need to move my screen. I can't see at the top here. This one here. Now, this is the part that I think is one of the most valuable ones, is actually analyzing sales data as an example. So what I've gone here is got a very simple data set. So it's a US company. And I've got 3 years worth of data. And what you can do now is, let's say I want to look at my top 10 most profitable customers. All right, so I'm going to look at my top 10. So you'll see now every time I change the slicer, these tables expand and these charts update. So what it's showing me now is I can actually go and track now who's my most profitable customers. Let me just close that. And you can look at the trends. So you can easily spot. And let's say I want to make this bigger, just click on that and you can expand it. So that's just one simple example. Let's say I want to go and look at my top products. So I'm going to look at my top 10 products. And you'll see when I change that, all these variables change. So now I can see revenue from my top 10 is 88.84K. It makes up 18.89% of my total revenue, and gross profit from it is 19.5. And that gives me my gross profit margin. Okay, well now we also say, okay, so that's great. That was 2014, but how did 2015 look like? Okay, well there, our GPs went up to 27.51, going to 2016 and 2017. So the power that you're seeing here is it's quite amazing, because you can quickly spot trends in different areas. Just this chart will show you revenue by category, by region, by name, by GP, by ship mode, and by segment, all in one dashboard. And to build this it just takes practice. But once you get the hang of this, it's actually quite easy to design. Okay, I'll just wrap up and just give another one. Let's maybe do. You can also do maps within Power BI. So let's say I'm going to just select. Let me say, anyone can go and look at my technology category for products. So you'll see all these charts have changed now. You can assign different colors. You can create your own color schemes. Let's say I want to only go and look at. Let's say I only want to go look at machines, for example. And it will show me all my sales for machinery, and I want to go look at 2017. And maybe I only want to go and look at a specific product. Maybe this. Where's this Cisco? This maybe. So you see now. So it shows exactly what you want to do. The filter context in Power BI is amazing because when you, depending on what you select, the rest of the visuals will filter. So if you select technology, for example, then you'll only see technology products here. So if I go back, select all, you'll see, well, now I've got my different categories that have popped back in. So if I change that to furniture, for example, it will now show all the furniture. And that's the nice thing about Power BI. It's so dynamic and versatile in that way. All right, so I think that was just a quick one of what you can actually do with Power BI, giving you a bit of a variety, just to illustrate what you can actually do with it. There's a lot more that you can do with it, but I think for the finance and accounting professionals, it's first of all, it's a change of mindset. It's not an Excel tool. There's no such thing as go to cell C2, for example. Power BI doesn't talk about cells; it talks about columns. And in order to understand the Power BI, there's a few fundamentals you need to understand. But once you've wrapped your head around it and you've played with it, this is not a thing that you just do once and you think you're going to master it. You need to practice. I've been building dashboards for 4 years and I'm still learning. And even when I'm talking to you now, there's other things coming to mind. So Power BI is evolving. They're always keeping it up to date. It's an IT product. There's always new features, new functionalities. And that's the other great thing about a Microsoft product. They're always evolving the thing. So, all right. So I'm going to just stop screen share, and then.
Hello.
I hope the sound was all right.
Yeah, there are a few questions from our members. One of the members is asking, how can we send the MIS report to our seniors through mail automatically? Every Monday he wants to send his report. Can we do that? Can we have that option?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can schedule it. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't hear the question. Did you say SQL? Is he just asking about scheduling reports?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Power BI, you can schedule reports. So you can set different intervals if you want to. They give you a lot of options. I think you can sync it up to refresh your reports up to 15 times a day at different intervals. So it automatically updates. So it's a thing called a gateway. There's a gateway that you would need to install. So that's the technical side of Power BI. But once you've set up a gateway, it auto refreshes. And then you can, every time it refreshes, you can send it out, or you can send it out at different intervals to schedule your reports.
Okay, thank you. We have Mr. Shashidharan. He is asking, can this be integrated with SAP?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Can the BI tool be integrated with SAP?
Yeah, you broke up there. Sorry, can someone just...
Yeah, in fact, the question is, he's not audible.
Yeah, sorry.
Can Power BI can be integrated through SAP? There is any linkage between SAP and Power BI?
Yes, it can. Yeah, it can. Yeah.
Okay, so the data source can be SAP also, right?
Yes, yeah. 115 data sources. So it's definitely one of them that you can. If you've got I do recommend that that people learn SQL fundamentals. I'm not saying you must be SQL pro developer, but it does help if you know how to write SQL statements to fetch data from a server. There's lots of courses in Udemy and YouTube. You can just go and look at it. But if you can write simple query, and the reason for that is that you don't just want to go and fetch everything from SAP. By writing SQL, you can say select from, so you can select which tables that you want to bring in. Because remember, the more data you bring into Power BI, the more processing it needs to do, and it's going to definitely slow down your reports. So SQL is a good skill to be able to trim down what you want to bring into Power BI.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
No worries.
One of our members, he want to ask Power BI or Tableau. Which one of is the better for finance professionals?
Power BI. I don't even look at Tableau, to be honest. So I can't answer Tableau. I've never used it. I'm a Power BI fan because I'm a Microsoft fan. So that person would need to play around with both. I recommend. I don't know if Tableau is free, like Power BI is. So I just think Power BI is it's. I've just showed you. It's the top Power BI tool recommended by Gartner for the last couple of years. So, and it just outperforms any other of the business intelligence tools. So I stick with the one that's the leader.
So one very basic questions that is for who are very new for as beginners for Power BI. So most of the people are using Excel, MS Excels. So how do you see this MS Excel? What are the advantage you see from MS Excel to using Power BI?
Well, Excel is great, but I do think it's a bit old school if you compare it to Power BI. Excel, you can't analyze unlimited rows. You can't share it to the cloud for people to collaborate on. You can't auto schedule reports. You can't. It doesn't have. I know it's got Power BI. Excel's got Power Pivot in the back end, which is also DAX. So I think it's powerful when it comes to analytics, but it's not. It doesn't come nowhere close to Power BI when it comes to visualization and sharing information with other people. So I don't say you must stop Excel, but I think you need to learn Power BI just to understand what you can actually do with it, and it's a good skill to have. But it's like I said earlier on, it's not Excel. Excel is not Power BI, and Power BI is not Excel. It's a different mindset. It's a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
So business intelligence is Power BI. So that's helping business make better decisions faster. And business intelligence, it can be financial and non-financial data. So if you're just going to do financial reporting, and you're happy with the way you're doing it currently, then probably Excel is your best bet. But if you want to roll up your sleeve and deliver more value to business and better insights, then Power BI is the way to go.
Okay, so are you saying Power BI the report? So that can be collaborated between multiple users within in a company.
Yep, exactly.
At the same time, right?
Yeah, it's the same time. Yeah, you can set up set up different rights to people, so certain people can see different things, but you can share the same report to multiple people. So as soon as the application has refreshed it and it's updated, then if they log into their tablet or their mobile phone, they'll see the latest dashboards on their devices.
And at the same time, whosoever the people collaborating in a particular platform to look at the particular report, can they customize also as per their own choice?
Yes, they can. They can in Power BI, in Power BI Pro, in the cloud, they can actually create their own dashboards. So when the one thing that with Power BI is that there will need to be a bit of training for the users, the end users, because I showed you that focus mode where they can expand the screen.
Yeah.
They won't know that. So there needs to be some induction, some training. But I think if finance helps them train, then I think that's a great opportunity for finance to get to meet all the decision makers and say we're here to help. We want to bring business intelligence to the business, and we get as part of our service is to upskill the end users in Power BI, the self-service, how to use these reports.
Okay. I have one more question, Mr. Arno. Does
Yeah.
Power BI support mobile devices?
Yes.
Okay.
It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work on a Mac. Yeah. You can't develop Power BI at the desktop. You can't have it on a Mac. That's the only negative thing I would say. So it only works on Windows. Huh?
Okay. And what do I need to install to use Power BI?
Okay, so yeah, it is a resource intensive application. It uses RAM and disk space. So I'm happy to the specs are changing the whole time. I think you got to have at least two gig RAM, and I think it's 20. I can't remember the size of the app, but you need a bit of a fast machine. And the thing is, when you're developing Power BI, I always suggest close all your applications, because if you're in developer mode, then just have Power BI open. But having said that, it also depends on the amount of data you're bringing in. So it all depends on your circumstances. But it is a resource intensive application. Not when you push it to the cloud. So when the cloud is it's a website, then it's a URL. So it's not when it's in the cloud, it's actually on a machine. On your local machine, it does use quite a bit of memory.
Okay. What regions and languages does Power BI support?
What regions? I think all regions. Yeah, all regions. All regions. There's a regional setting in Power BI that you can also. So it supports all regions. I think someone asked me about. I'm looking in the comments here. Someone asked about DAX, about coding. So, if I may just add, the most challenging part about Power BI is learning Power BI is DAX. It's the programming code. It's not the visualization. It's actually learning the coding. So, if you want to learn Power BI, that's where you need to start. You first need to understand the fundamentals. How does Power BI work? I did give you a high-level overview of the workflow, but I did mention that DAX is the most complicated part. It's not easy to understand in the beginning. It's very, because remember, you non-finance people are learning a new language, so it's always going to be intimidating because you don't know it. But the more you practice, you'll get on top of DAX. And if you can say that you've got as a finance professional, that you've got a programming language behind your name that you can do, I think that just adds to your credibility.
Okay. Mr. Redmi, he has one question. He wants to know, being a non-coding background, from where we should start into analytics. Do we start from SQL itself, or do we need to learn coding for better presentation? What should be the role in this case, an individual or developer?
So just to clarify, the question is where does one start to learn DAX? Is that what you're saying? The DAX coding, was that the question?
No, he doesn't have a coding background. He doesn't know how
Yes.
to programming. So how
Okay.
Start analytics?
Okay, so to start, so I'm talking about Power BI. So the Power BI is a data analytics tool as well. So to start learning DAX, there's good courses on Udemy, affordable course on Udemy, and then I would say YouTube. So there's a few YouTube channels you can follow. There's Guys Cube. I'm just trying to think that there's quite. If you just go and Google DAX on YouTube, there's so many free videos that you can watch, and you need to understand how DAX, the pillars of DAX. So I would recommend for that person to go and watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos and practice. Go and take some data sets. There's a lot of websites where you can go play around with dummy data sets. Take data and then apply your DAX learning to the data and try and write your own coding. And it's not a thing you're just going to learn overnight. It's through practice. But you can either use your own data or you go and practice with other data.
I would suggest Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao.
Yeah.
I think we can invite some audience as well to make it more interactive. If any audience is requested, please raise your hand. I will just allow you to unmute yourself. please raise your hand. If you have any good question, you can speak directly. Please raise your hand. If anyone from audience is interested to ask question, please raise your hand. Yeah. So Mr. Kumar Manish Ranjan. Okay, he's the one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to all.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, sir. This side Kumar Manish Ranjan, and I am presently pursuing my PGDM course in Business Analytics, where I get to know about these tools, Power BI, and I have a good hands-on experience on working with these tools. I have made a good dashboard, very dynamic dashboard. It is changing dynamic. It's like real-time data. We can see there. We can just get enormous amounts of insights, relations with one particular thing to another, and one to many. There is the cardinality between the
Hmm.
tables and all these things. So, we can see the cardinality means the one to many and one to one. So I experienced the last previous 1 2 month. So I get to know. I had also given an interview in many 2 3 companies related to this. So I get to know about this. This is very powerful analytical tool. So the one thing I want to ask uh, there is many dimensions in which we can use this Power BI tool. So what is the concept of the backend process, like SQL part, the query part, the Power Query part?
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, thanks Kumar. It's a good question. I definitely recommend that you learn Power Query Editor, which is the backend, and it's a tool that you actually use in Excel as well. But all Power Query Editor, that's actually where Power BI gets its information from. It sits at the back of Power BI desktop. It fetches the data, and then it actually cleans and transforms the data. Now, there's a lot of transformation. It's almost like VBA on steroids. It records everything that you've done to the data. So every time that you bring the data, a new set of data in, it applies those steps automatically. At the same time, Power Query it's based on a language called it's an M language. Now, I'm not an M language fundi. But I don't use Power Query when it comes to, but you can actually maybe learn that language as well. But I teach more about how to clean up and transform data. But I agree with Kumar. Power Query Editor is probably is definitely a check on your checklist is to learn that skill, Power Query Editor. It will just help you with the backend. So thanks, Kumar. That's it.
Yeah. Next is from only system is asking. Someone from Redmi. Mobile name is just showing. You can just unmute.
Hello,
Yes.
this is Dev Jyoti Ganguly. Can you hear me all?
Yes. Yeah.
Just on your view as well.
Yeah. So my question is like, we finance professional work as an end user even in SAP also. Suppose we are using SAP. So in SAP we have different kind of roles. We are working as an end user. There are developers as well. So like in Power BI or SQL or this kind of tools, there are few people working as developer who are working actually to develop their financial models and all, and who are working as a end user who actually use those models to get to know what are those results of the company and to take insights from that and to understand what are the future aspect and do some predictive analysis on the basis of those results. So if we learn analytics and if we learn Power BI or Tableau, this kind of tools, so what would be our role in that case? Do we work as a end user of that tool and to know about the future of the company, or we will work as our data modeler or financial modeler as well? So this is my question.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I would say you actually become the developer, so you become the modeler, because especially when it comes financial I'm not sure if you got financial modeling skills. I'm also a financial modeler. So actually, if you got a financial modeler skill, plus you got a business intelligence skill, it's quite a nice combination to have, because you can. I think that to answer your question is you need to own it. You need to own the model, and I don't think you become the end user. You develop it for end users. But it also depends on what the outcome is or what you're trying to achieve. But I don't see the point of learning Power BI if you're not going to be part of the action. It's like I say. So
now, Mr. Sadiq, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, my question to Arno is that is there any kind of security features that Power BI is offering, like for firewall or something like that to secure the data?
yeah, so you're getting technical now. So yeah, I think in terms of who can see what data, there's definitely row level security. But in terms of firewall, you'll have to check that with the IT. I'm not an IT expert on data. So, but it's a good question. But I would think with Microsoft it would be secure. But it's best to check that with your IT guys. Because I mean, think about it. Also, I suppose if I may just add to that is if you're installing it on your local, if you're working on Power BI on your local machine, then you surely need to have at least firewall protection. I would think, because you're all going to connect to the internet, because you're pushing that data to the internet. So, but my advice to you is check with your IT, because a lot of times what happens is people will install Power BI on their desktop and then it doesn't work because IT have blocked it. So, and if they've blocked it, then you won't be able to push that information to the cloud. You actually won't even be able to open up your application. So I always say, don't do it in silo. Work with IT to help set it up and make sure that you got the right security and firewall settings in place.
Yeah.
Because everyone's environment's different.
Thanks, Mr. Arno. Mr.
Yeah,
Sai,
no worries.
yeah. Mr. Sairam, you can unmute yourself. Yeah,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Sairam, please go ahead. Okay. Now then, someone from Redmi is coming again. Okay, let me give him a chance. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, this is Devjyoti again. So I have a question, another, like if you are becoming a financial modeler, so do you need to learn statistics for that? Because statistics is the base of the financial modeling, as far as my concern or my understanding. So to become a good financial modeler or to become a good financial data analytics, do you learn statistics as well to learn those modeling tools?
Okay, so yeah, so good question. So just bear in mind, financial modeling is very different to business intelligence. Financial modeling is modeling something to predict an outcome, like a three-way forecast, income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. And business intelligence, business skills is actually delivering insights into business to make better decisions. So it's very two different skills. So I'm a financial modeler and valuation analyst with FMVA, which is through the CFI, Corporate Institute of Finance. So I recommend it if you want to become a financial modeler, certainly you can get certified in that, you can go to them. But if you want to become certified in Power BI, there's actually Microsoft is running a DA-100 certification. I think it's a Microsoft's data analyst certification that you do if you want to say you're Power BI certified. It's a good thing to learn because they go more into depth about not just the modeling side, but also the security, the technical side of Power BI. So financial modeling is very different to business intelligence, but I do think they complement one another, because you're probably going to do more financial modeling through Excel than Power BI is not a financial modeling tool. It's an analytical tool and visualization. So it's very different.
So Mr. Rao, I think we have done.
এটা হচ্ছে মিস্টার রাও যে আসবে সে
Yeah.
তার সাথে আমার
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Sir, I have one more last question. What browsers does Power BI support? Can
Yeah,
you
sorry,
hear me?
yeah, I couldn't hear that. Power BI support. Yeah.
What browsers does Power
Browsers.
BI
Oh,
support?
browsers. Yeah, no, I think in all browsers, it's all browsers because it's a URL, so it works on any browser. There's no Chrome, Firefox, Edge, all that. So it works. It's fine. There's no limitation.
Okay.
As long as you got internet, you can look at it. Okay. Good. All good.
Thank you so much for answering all our questions. We're
Okay.
running short of time. So, Dr. Arminderji, I would request you to present a token of appreciation to our speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Arno. That is really very interactive and very learning for all of us. So
Thank you.
in behalf of ISMA, so I present certificate of recognition.
Great. Thank you.
So, yeah, thanks again.
Thank you. Thank
for
you.
giving your time to our CMA professionals in India. Thanks.
Pleasure.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for all your insights. The information what you shared is really very valuable, and definitely it is going to help all our finance professionals. Now I would request Mr. Pankaj Jain, our past president, for his concluding remarks. Before handing over to Mr. Pankaj Jain, I would like to read a brief profile about Mr. Pankaj Jain. CMA Pankaj Jain is the founder and past president of ISMA. Is an accomplished CMA CS certified corporate director, alumni of IIM Calcutta, with a vibrant spirit of entrepreneurship, having 30 years of diversified experience across wide spectrum of industries, working at top corporate level positions like vice president, CFO, CEO, director, and has been instrumental in raising funds for bigger projects. Currently, he is engaged as the chief mentor for Jain Ventures Limited and have dedicated consulting verticals for CFO services for startup, SMEs, real estate, and cost management consulting. He is associated with many socio-economic initiatives in various capacities and is a mentor to many startups with the objective of helping them to achieve sustainable and scalability of their business. Now, this is a brief profile about our past president of ISMA. Now, over to you, Pankaj.
Yeah. Thank you, CMA Rao. Dr. Mendra, President ISMA, our chief guest of the day, Shri Venkat, and our eminent speaker of today's session, Mr. Arno. I think that was a wonderful session we had today, and the great insights Venkat is, shared with us. I think that are very, very, from the hardcore, from his practical experience. Now, before I go ahead further, I would like to have one more quick poll. Are you using Power BI? That is a very simple, quick question. I want to know that how many of you are using the Power BI? How many of you are actual user? Please, just please participate. We are, just audience, please go ahead. Just put yes or no. Are you using BI or not? Because we want to understand that how many of you are actually using the BI. Because that is the purpose of Arno as well. That Arno want to make you aware that what is the power of the Power BI, how you can make a business decision making, business reporting very, very effective and efficient. We have only 39, audience poll. Please, I request other audience to participate in the poll. Please go ahead. We have just few seconds left to close the poll. Please write just yes or no. Are you using Power BI? I think you will agree with me that now by the session from the Arno, you are now very well understand that what is the real power of the Power BI, how you can convert your existing data or information in the powerful reporting, in your powerful presentation. And Venkata has already shared with you very great insights that you have to brief yourself in your reporting. You have to understand the art of communication. So real professionalism is not the what hardcore skills you have. It is more about the soft skills. So I think Power BI, apart from giving you some kind of hardcore skill, it is also giving some kind of your soft skills of presentation. Okay. So 46 participants have given their thoughts. So now these are the results. So 24% are saying yes and 76% are saying no. So I think, Arno, you have lot of opportunities for our audience because you can
Yeah.
most of it.
So come guys, I wanna help you learn. No, it's all good.
So,
Thanks.
so most of our audience is not using BI, so that you give you perfect opportunity to connect with our audience and to take them forward in the journey of the Power BI. Now, just to share my thoughts on this Power BI session. So friends, financial business intelligence is a term used to describe methods to collect, process, and analyze financial data from database in real time and make better business decisions with the help of professional financial business intelligence software. The role of a chief financial officer or CFO is always evolving. It is not simply about being a finance executive anymore. It is about being a strategic partner to other business executives. To continue building partnerships across the organization, CFOs need to become masters at translating all sorts of data into insightful analysis and actionable advice. Business intelligence, BI, is the technology driven process that enables businesses to organize, analyze, and contextualize information from around the company. To support decision making, a BI system needs high quality data inputs. With the power of BI, companies can use both financial and operational information to gain business insights from current, historic, and even future trend data. This data can be used to update performance metrics such as financial, sales, marketing, or operations KPI. With BI, companies can closely track financials, optimize their supply chains, and make better decisions on everything from marketing to M&A. Business intelligence tool provide the finance department with insight into the internal and the external factors that affect the bottom line. The study of historical data can offer key insights into future trends and help a company anticipate and calculate risk. Easy to use self-service BI reporting tools allow users to create dashboards that present a holistic view of a company's financial details, identifying problem areas and previously overlooked trends in data. Insights from BI guide the CFOs in keeping a business more efficient by swiftly addressing performance issue and using data to make more informed business decisions. BI provides a manageable way to correlate and visualize large amounts of disparate data from multiple sources to reveal financial and operational insights and make it available to anyone in the organization. Application of BI provides a number of potential benefits such as reduced risk, increased profitability, better communication, competitive edge, marketing profitability, and operational efficiency, etc., etc. So I think our audience and all the participants have learned today from the great session conducted by our honorable chief guest of the today and our eminent speaker of the today. With this note, I close my words. Now, CM Rao, over to you.
Yeah, Thank you, Pankajji, for giving the gist of the event, and thank you for your concluding remarks. Now, I would request CMA Deepak Seth, who is a member of ISMA, to close the program with his vote of thanks. Over to you, CMA Deepak Sethi. Before, let me read his profile, brief profile. CMA Deepak Sethi is a qualified cost accountant. He is a qualified independent director. He passed the independent director exam by IICA and a graduate in commerce. Currently, he is a practicing cost and management accountant in Lucknow chapter with Sethi and Associates. He is also a partner of a firm, Honey Singh and Associates. He is in this field of practice for quite a long time, and he is handling audit assignments, direct and indirect taxation assignments, and also he is into the management consultancy. He's our active member and nominated as a brand ambassador of Indian Society of Management Accountants. Over to you, Mr. Deepak.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Am I audible to all?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, Mr. Deepak.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Today we had an extremely useful talk on Power BI, and we also got to know how to develop a powerful data model. It is my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks, as this is the need of the hour. Microsoft Power BI is a business tool that is used by the analytics to solve and connect big data and provide business with the interactive insights. Before going further, I would like to thank our guests today to making this event more and more interactive by their cross questions. I would like to thank all the participants, our chief guests, and our members. Next, the presence of our honorable chief guest, Venkita, the president of Olam International. In his presence, it is a reflection of importance and his attachment towards the commitment of today's successful event. Thank you so much, Venkit sir. ISMA extends a very hearty thanks to you as you agreed to be present today and you inspired and motivated all of us and made this webinar a grand successful event. ISMA is very indebted to our eminent speaker, CA Arno, who took this session to a great huge platform, and with his expertise shared his insights on Power BI. On behalf of President of ISMA, Dr. Amred, our Senior Vice President, Mr. Rao, and our past President of ISMA, CMA Pankaj Jain, all the participants today and other members of ISMA, extends a very hard thanks to CA Arno to addressing the wonderful topic. Thank you so much, Arno sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
We all are inspired by your knowledge sharing with us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you all for making this event a wonderful. And with this note, we close our today's session.
Deepak, before you close, I want to share one information with the audience. We have one program on 3rd of July, increasing sales through business analytics, where ISMA is a community partner. So I am just sharing the screen and sharing the, this is just a flyer of our next program. So I have also shared the LinkedIn link through which we will get the more details of the event, and the all coordinates are also there in the flyer. So I will request all that you can join this program. Again, we have open participation for all, first come, first serve basis. So thank you so much. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. Thanks once again to our chief guest, Mr. Venkata, and thanks to Mr. Speaker, Mr. Arno. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best. All the best. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.